Namaskaram and a very good morning. Happy Independence Day to all of you. Please confirm if I'm audible to you all.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Thank you. Is my image visible?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So today is a very special session because in this session I'll share you certain things which will help you to work on yourself at a most fundamental level. When we use the term freedom, freedom has multiple connotations. What freedom meant in 1947 is very different from what is freedom in 2024, right? So before I begin, or before I take this forward, I want to understand what is your understanding of freedom? What do you mean by freedom? What does freedom mean for you? You can share in your own words. I need a couple of people to let me know what is freedom for you, because you're no longer bound by the Angrejis, right? Or for any other nation for that matter. Freedom from what? Freedom from whom?
So freedom from our own mental shackles.
Okay, fair enough. What else?
Financial freedom. Do what you like to want.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What else? More responses, guys. Quick responses. What else? What is freedom? Because we don't know what you want, it doesn't matter what you get. What is freedom for you?
Getting what you want.
Getting what you want. Okay. Freedom to be able to live life after the CA cycle. Okay. See, because one thing which is sure is just because we wear, white, green, or blue, that's not going to give us freedom. Or waving the flag a couple of times and sharing a few WhatsApp forwards is not going to give us freedom. I hope you understand. That's why we focus on doing meaningful things, which might actually give us freedom. So that's where I'm getting at. So I'm trying to pinch you here and there so that you come out with a valid understanding of freedom. What is freedom for you? Think fast.
Freedom from CA codes.
Okay. What else? So there is a very deep narrative about freedom, because freedom is something which is fundamental to all humans. Like if you look at it, a lot of people say that freedom is something which you enjoy the most. Let's say independence. Some of you said financial freedom. Yes, you don't want to depend on anyone for your finances, or emotional freedom. You don't want to depend on anything or anyone for managing your emotions. So there are various ways of looking at it. But here, what I envision for you, or what HLS envisions for you, is what I'm going to share today. So this requires some level of deep focusing. Can I have it? Okay. Unless you're speaking, please keep yourself on mute so that it doesn't disturb others. Please mute yourself. I can do it from my end also, but then I'm just asking. Okay. Now I'll ask you questions at an appropriate time. But right now we'll be going into certain depth so that you'll know what freedom truly is and what has to be done for that. Again, it's not a checklist of one, two, three where you kind of go and implement. It is a thought-provoking session. That is the whole idea. So that's where I need your attention. I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm if it is visible to you all. Is it visible?
No, sir.
Okay. How about
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Sir, it's not audible.
am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
I'm audible, Abhi? Audible?
Audible.
Perfect. Okay, so this is one image which should reflect in your mind. If there is one thing which you're carrying forward from today's session, this is it. You have to get to a point in your preparation where if you have to clear your exam, ICI provides you answer sheet. Why I did not use paper here is ICI provides a paper. You are carrying only a pen to the examination center for you to clear CA, for you to become a chartered accountant, or for you to clear your inter exams, whatever is applicable for you. All you need is a pen. What do I mean by this? When I say all you need is a pen, what do you mean by this? What is the essence of the statement? What is the essence? What is the symbolic representation of this image? Can someone explain? Pardon, you need to be a bit louder.
That's the only thing which helps us to clear CA exams no matter what.
Got it? Anyone? Anything else? This is the only thing which you have to understand to clear this exam. I'm telling you, one picture speaks more than 1,000 words, 1,000 sentences for this matter. So if you have a pen, you should clear your exams. What does it mean?
Your result is depends upon what you write in the exam hall. It completely depends on what you write.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sir, at the end of the day, what you put into paper is what matters. So that it's only the pen with the pen that we're gonna do it.
Hmm. Hmm. So why do you think you're not yet there? Let's say that's a eventual scenario. Now, if you're not yet there, why do you think you need? What else you need? Right now, let's say at some point of time we only need the pen, but right now, what else you need to clear this exam? Because if I tell you that I'll give you a pen, if you go and write the exam, will you clear right now? If the answer is no, what else you need apart from the pen? That will help you understand what is required for you to go ahead and pick up.
Mindset that we need apart from this.
You're not audible. You're not at all audible.
So it's the
Preparation,
mindset,
sir. Best preparation.
mindset and preparation.
Okay. Any more responses? Okay, proper plan, got it. So this is the reference which you should keep working on. Like every single day, question yourself: am I going to a point where I would only need a pen to clear the exam? Am I going there, or is it a long shot? Is it a long way? What else you require? So you have to keep reducing the list of things which are required apart from the pen. Now you might need 100 things. Now as you proceed towards the examination, you have to get to a point where you would require only a pen. Okay, that is exactly the whole idea of this particular conversation. Okay, so remember this image. We'll talk about the rest of things. Now the other aspect is you need to understand that freedom is not free. You have to fight for it. It's not available. It is never available directly. You have to fight for it. So, and for our limited and specific constraint, taking into consideration all the pointers which you have mentioned, what is freedom? Your ability to act without constraints, ability to act freely without constraints, ability to act without resistance, ability to act without friction. So there are multiple ways of defining freedom. For you, you want to do something, you should be able to do it without self-doubt, hesitation, self-sabotage, a lot of things. Okay, when I say constraint, now lack of knowledge is a constraint, lack of less memory is a constraint, inability to write is a constraint. So ability to write freely without constraint. Now substitute this with write. So any given action which you want to take, you should be able to do it without constraint. There should not be any constraints in life. That's where, I think when you look at and cherish celebrity lives, this is exactly, they have the ability to live without constraints. So this is what you're looking at. And in terms of uh, the current state and the desired state, what exactly are we looking at in the futuristic change? So one is you should be in a position to change easily. You should be having the ease of change, and you should reduce the compulsions. There are a lot of compulsions which people have. You have to think in a particular way. You have to go through a particular process. You have to feel certain way. So all of this, and wherever state you are currently, you should not you should not have neither compulsions nor constraints. Compulsions are generally internal, constraints are external. Okay, so if you remove internal compulsions, if you remove external constraints, that's where you'll find the path to freedom. You'll be in a position to find the path to freedom, and for you to get there, for you to get to the ability of cracking the exam with a pen alone, there are three things. Okay, there are three stages in this. The first stage is called planning. The second stage is called implementation. Third stage is called improvement. Planning, implementation, and improvement. Can someone tell me, the difference between these three things? What exactly is the difference between these three?
Planning means what you
Sim-
want it to do. Implementation means what you have planned, you have to implement it. Improvement means after implementation, you have to analyze the situation, you have to replan again what need to be done.
Fair enough. Good. Any more responses? Any other responses? I need single word
So
differentiation
it
between.
is a continuous process.
Okay. Yeah, of course, it is continuous, of course. What else? What else? So I'll tell you the fundamental difference between this. Now, planning is largely about, it's a thinking function, right? It's doing. Now, at a planning level, you don't do much, and at implementation level, you shouldn't think much. So this is the game. You plan, you stop the plan, start implementing. It looks like it's a continuous process. Of course, it is a continuous process. But if thinking comes into the implementation process, you're gone. The biggest problem with most of the students is you think while you're doing. Let's say when I said doing, let's understand it as learning. The human mind can only think or learn. There are exceptions, but at a given point of time, you're either thinking or you're either learning. You're either thinking or learning, thinking or learning. So when I say the implementation stage, when you're draining your energy for thinking, you won't be in a position to learn. Okay, so this is one thing which you clearly have to understand. One hack for you to improve your efficiency significantly: stop thinking while doing. Before you do, think. After you do, evaluate. But before, while doing, there should not be any thinking. So the outcome of planning is you have a strategy or you have a schedule. Strategy, schedule is what you have. Implementation, you need to have an actionable, or you need to have actionable steps. And evaluation, improvement is your evaluation mechanism. So how do you convert this into something which you can directly apply in a preparation is what I'm going to tell you next. But at this level, you need to know planning is a superficial or top level strategy which will translate into a schedule. Now, implementation is something where you're continuously doing something without the need for thinking. It's completely doing linked. Improvement should be based on what you're doing, not what you're thinking. Don't waste time in improving your thinking. Waste your time, spend your time on improving doing. Automatically, thinking works, right? So don't improve the plan, improve the implementation. Improve your implementation. Don't waste time improving the plan because no matter how many times you improve the plan, the value of this is zero if you're not implementing it. So, in case you're stuck at still finding the right strategy to start preparation, or if you're stuck at, if you're still waiting to find the one book which is going to change your life, or if you're trying to find the one video which will significantly increase the level of your preparation or quality of your preparation, that does not exist, including this particular session. You have to understand only when you start implementing things, you will see improvement. Okay, don't link improvement and planning. This is something which you have to clearly understand. So one is don't think while you're doing, and don't improve your planning much. Focus on improving your implementation. Is this aspect clear for all of you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I'll do one thing. I'll summarize this here itself. So for planning, all you need is targets and timelines. Okay, set some targets and have timelines for those targets. Set some targets and have timelines for those targets. As simple as it. And once you do it, leave it there. Some changes will be required, but do not worry about them too much. Targets and timelines. Implementation, for implementation, you need tools and techniques. Now, let's say tools. Let's say book is a tool, or video is a tool for you to study, right? Techniques will help you out how to use the tools properly. And for improvement, you need tests and trackers. Okay, so we are covering this in three things. One is targets and timelines. At any point of time, you should have a target and you need to have timeline. And then you need some tools, which are resources or sources. And then for you to use the tools, you need some techniques. And finally, you need to have some tests which will measure your performance, and trackers, I would say tracker will monitor your performance, test will measure your performance. So these are the functional aspects of this three-stage process of planning, implementation, and improvement. Are things clear until now? Okay, at this junction, Now I'm asking a straightforward specific question. We looked into the planning aspect, we looked into the implementation aspect, we looked into the improvement aspect. A lot of students get stuck at the planning process. They still keep waiting for the right plan. They don't even move into the implementation part until very close to the exam. They don't even get to the implementation part. Now, the problem with this is you won't see any improvement until you start the implementation. No, there are certain segment of students who plan and it move to the implementation part. When I say plan and implementation, you create a great preparation plan. You actually implement 100% of it, but still you might fall short of it. Let's say there are a lot of students who would have given their best and they still end up scoring 260, 270. Why do you think it is happening? Now I'm telling you a scenario where somebody is planning and able to implement the plan, still they're not clearing. Why do you think it is happening? If someone plans something and still implements it, still if you're not able to achieve the target, why do you think it is happening? What could be the scenario where you plan and you implement the same, still you would not clear? Think through that.
Your planning is not perfect up to the mark.
Okay, it could be a planning gap, it could be a planning issue. What else?
When you implement the planning and
Pardon?
when the implementation part, when you're not perfect, then you might get failure.
Okay.
But the implementation is not correct, and improvement is also not properly analyzed.
So we are not measuring and monitoring our performance.
Right. That's a good insight. So let's say you decided this is the plan, you implemented everything, but the point is, what if that is not enough? What if the implementation mechanism is not enough to reach the specific target? Let's say you decided to run at the rate of 10 kilometers per hour. Now, for the next 10 kilometers, you finished 100 kilometers. What if the distance is 120? What if the distance is 140? Now, this is where the question of improvement comes into picture. Not just implementation, the implementation has to be improved continuously. In an exam like ICA, in an exam like CA conducted by ICA, it is very important for you to track and monitor your performance on a constant basis. Now, this is a very hard thing. Even after writing mock tests, do you know a scenario where people fail even after writing a lot of mock tests, even after scoring good scores in the mock test? So the real measure of performance is extremely hard. It's very difficult to track. So this is the reason why we kind of insist you to constantly pay extra attention to the minute of the things. Let's say while you're practicing a question, while you're practicing a problem, you might have a tendency that after 60, 70%, you stop thinking and quickly look at the answer. Now, at the end of the study session, you might feel that you've done that problem. But the reality is, you stopped at a point and you took a different turn. You looked at the answer and you thought it is done. Or while you're trying to recollect at something, while you're trying to recall an answer, there is a huge risk that you're not recollecting the whole thing, but you're just being okay because you don't differentiate between what is coming out of your mind and what you're quickly checking and adapting from the book. So this will be, covered, or this will be curbed only when you follow what is given to you on a daily basis. When you look at something like day-end revision, when you look at something like previous year revision, that is the point where you'll be able to understand what you're not understanding or what you're not getting it. So the whole idea is not just sitting and studying. You have to constantly. It's a very over and above the trackers and tests. Your insight and your attention onto the preparation process becomes extremely important. For you to pay attention onto this preparation process, there is nothing else you should be doing. Understand? So if you want to avoid surprises in the main exam result, where you think that, okay, this is a plan which I wanted to implement, and I'd implement the plan, but still if it's falling short, which actually means there was no component of improvement in your preparation. You're only implementing, you're not improving. The implementation has to be happening simultaneously along with the improvement. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm sharing a document. Are you able to see a document on the screen now?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
Abhi?
Visible.
Okay. Fair enough. So this is our work. This is something which we got a copyright, and it's our intellectual work. It has the basis on which we teach most of the things at HLS. Now, for all the PGP students, I'll make this copy accessible very shortly. But today, I'm trying to help you get a context of what you need to pick up. Okay. Now, your ability to clear CA. Now, understand me clearly. Your ability to clear CA is purely based on your competence, not confidence. Okay, it's not confidence. Confidence is something you feel. Competence is something you build. Okay, competence is like a football. Confidence is like a balloon. You clearly understand this. Competence is something you build. Confidence is something you feel. For us to build competence, we ask people to come down and stay here with us. For you to get confidence, you can just watch some random YouTube video and still you can become confident. Or probably by listening to this, you might become confident. But the whole idea is confidence is necessary but not sufficient. Competence is something which is very important, right? Now, when you talk about competence, when I say competence, your ability, competence is the ability to clear this exam. Now, for you to do this, or for you to build the competence required to clear CA, there are three aspects. One is, I would say, to in a simpler way, one is knowing something. When I say knowing something, it's the syllabus. I would say the content part of it, the syllabus content part of it, the content part of syllabus. Now, when you look at the other dimension, this is knowledge. The other dimension is skill. When you look at skill, skill is how to do, how to solve a problem, how to write an answer, how to remember. All of these are skills. Now, knowledge and skills, and when I say attitude, ask attitude, skills, and knowledge. When you want to understand attitude, the approach, how are you approaching the entire journey, where in the process you pick up some knowledge and you pick up skills. So all of this together, now attitude is the mindset part of the software side of it. So all of this together will help you build competence. Now, confidence can be built. Confidence can be built without knowledge, without skills, without attitude. You just listen to something and you build confidence like a gas balloon. So, one of the important aspects today is you have to get rid of the need for confidence. Don't rely on confidence that is not trustable. That's the reason why I always call, I'm very critical about motivation, because it only gives you confidence, not competence. So, this is one thing which you heavily rely upon. On a particular day, whether you're very confident or not, do not worry too much about that component. Okay. Now, I'll quickly take you through this aspect now in terms of the planning, implementation, improvement, and then I'll show you the back end structure. In the last 10 minutes of the session, I'll show you the back end of all of this. Now, this is the front end. So if you look at the planning, implementation, and improvement, so recently we've given you a 75-day plan, starting from what you need to do in each of these boot camps, and then you just complete the 10 days each subject in 10 days. So that blueprint is something which is customized. It is something which suits your requirement to understand what needs to be done. So this is about the planning part. Now for implementation, now all of this live sessions and all of this mom and dad, which are going to start this week, 5 a.m., mom at 5 a.m. and dad at 9 p.m., all of the sessions are intended to help you implement. And this is where you should focus on. When I talk about improvement, improvement is something which you should focus upon. So you have a lot of trackers which will help you to constantly monitor what you're doing and how you can do further. Now, from the next exam onwards, let's say we can try it from today's exam, we'll start working on something called exam mistake tracker. Now, what happens in this exam mistake tracker is, over and above writing your exam, you will be in a position to understand what are the mistakes you have done, and you will be in a position to track all those mistakes. So, all these aspects will be reflecting in your preparation on a continuous basis. So because once you remove the planning part and once you start focusing on implementation and parallelly keep improving, every single day you can see yourself closer to your goal. Otherwise which it will become very hard for you to work on your preparation journey on a continuous basis. So it is important for you to do this parallelly, where you're working on the implementation part and you're continuously improving as you're proceeding forward. These are the two aspects of your preparation process which you have to currently focus on. Now, finally, uh, one thing which always bothers me about students are, you're not paying enough attention to your mindset. Now, in the 5-step preparation framework, you can always look at all these aspects. The most important thing which you constantly keep missing is your mindset. If you're not fixing your mindset, if you're not working on your mindset, you won't be able to build a productive routine. Without your mindset, you cannot build a routine automatically. Without a routine, you cannot complete the syllabus. When syllabus is not reasonably completed, revision won't be effective. And when revision is not effective, you cannot master presentation. Gaps at the mindset level will impact your routine, and that will further impact the syllabus completion, followed by revision and also your exam presentation. How many of you have understood this, or how many of you already observed this in you, where there is an internal mindset gap that is disturbing your routine, that is disturbing your ability to sit for X amount of time, and it is also impacting your level at which you complete the syllabus and also how much you revise. So this framework is what we have built, but I want to understand it from your perspective. How many of you are able to correlate to this? I need some quick responses based on this in terms of what has been said. I need some quick responses. So I'm saying in the 5-step preparation process, until you fix your mindset, your routine becomes loose. If your routine is loose, syllabus completion becomes a bit shaky. You won't be able to move or go beyond a particular level in your syllabus completion. That will further impact your effective revision. Your revision will be a bit loose, and finally, whatever you write on the exam will be vague. So these are the 5 steps. So how many of you notice the correlation between all of this? How many of you notice the correlation between all of this? Or you can share me your experience in terms of the steps.
Because like mindset not being right, and because of which like I haven't been completed my
You
syllabus.
need to be a bit louder. Somehow you're not audible.
So like I feel like the right mindset is very important, and especially and also like with regards to completion of syllabus, and if you haven't really completed your syllabus, I think even your confidence go down. You know, like you look little whatever he's thinking, I haven't done. So I feel everything is quite poorly, and that surely impacts your presentation on paper.
Somehow it was not audible. That's what I'm saying. You're audible. I need more responses. More responses on this part. Like, how is your mindset impacting your preparation? Because I'll share something which is game changing for you in the next 10-15 minutes. So I want to know, how is your mindset impacting your preparation?
The earlier it happened with me previous attempts that my mindset was not about consistency. I was working, I was studying, but it was not the daily. It was like one day I study for a full day, and other day I'll not study at all. So the mindset hampered my routine as well. So I was not consistent with it. Because of that, the syllabus completion also hampered because after breaking 1 or 2 days in the syllabus, like study, I used to forget the things, which also hampered the revision as well, preparation as well.
Fair enough. Prachi has reasonably summarized how our mindset is affecting our consistency in the routine. So that sums up what we're trying to tell you. And the rest of you, this is a contextual session until now. What I have shared is something which you can correlate to, but what is going to happen next is something which I do not share in a public scenario multiple times or most of the times. So this is the process where you'll find some answers. I want some extra attention. So I want all of you to switch on your videos. I want all of you to switch on your videos. So the last 35-minute conversation is all about helping you build a narrative for the next 20-25 minutes. So switch on your videos and pay extra attention. I'll give you a framework for the solution about what is the issue with the mindset and what needs to be done. Quickly switch on your videos.